Protocol monitoring and operational alerting are critical when it comes to ensuring best practices are followed, compliance is maintained, and overall risk is minimized. Now, these things are especially critical within insurance providers, where maintaining compliance is an auditory requirement and margins are often thin. Due to the severity of these consequences, providers need to be notified when non-compliant, risky, or inefficient behaviors are taking place within their claims processes and be able to take action prior to those risks adversely affecting claims flow or posing an audit or cost leakage issue. So we'll start by taking a look at an unexpected scenario which has occurred within a provider's claims processing workflow, and then move on to uncover violations which are being reported within the salvaging of totaled vehicles. Now, all this analysis is tied together by the ability to alert responsible parties while the claims are in process and not having to wait for a report days or weeks after the fact. So we'll begin by having a look at the query functionality, which gives us the capability of using ad hoc analysis to see if certain scenarios are occurring within our vehicle claims in this case. Right? This allows us to build pattern or sequence-based questions, something that a typical business intelligence tool would never allow you to do. So I'll pose a scenario. If we were to ask, do we have claims which are having rental cars being issued on them with no record of a coverage confirmation happening, and then after the rental car has been issued, the claim comes back as being denied after we've already incurred the cost of that rental car? Now, that seems like a non-compliant and definitely a not efficient way of processing a claim. We wouldn't expect that should be happening, but how would you answer this type of a question using a business intelligence tool? You probably couldn't. So I'll show you how we would build that out. We would start by saying we've got what we expect to be coverage confirmed, which is then followed by a rental car issued on the claim. But what I've said is this claim is then subsequently denied because we never confirm coverage of that claimant. So how often do we have this event not occurring, but these two downstream events occurring in this order? I go and search based on this scenario, and we see that we actually have 91 claims, and here they are for us, that have exhibited that specific non-compliant and risky behavior. Now, just to show you, these claims don't need to be this simple. These queries don't need to be this simple. I can add a bit more to this and say, once the claim's been denied, we'll say, thankfully, the claimant decided to return the rental car. So they brought the car back, but I'm only interested in those that took their time before they brought the car back. So those where there was a more than 4-day lag in between that claim denial notice going out and the car coming back, which would in turn drive up the cost of the rental car even more. So I've added a bit more to this query, and I'll search based on this new condition, and it returns the 44 claims that have exhibited that scenario. So this is an example of going off and being able to build ad hoc analysis at any moment in time to ask a question of your business process. Now, the nice thing about these queries and the corresponding protocols, which I'll touch on, is they drive that operational alerting and monitoring piece. So we can be notified far upstream prior to us ever executing on a rental car when we haven't confirmed that a claimant is actually covered. So we'll move on to the protocols. What a protocol does is allow you to build a set of rules or expected workflow. And instead of showing you those things that match, those claims that follow your protocols, you'd be more interested in those claims that break protocol or that violate your protocol. So protocols are designed for exactly that. Implement your best practice, your expected sequence of events and time frames, and only show me when we don't follow that expectation. So what we have here is a salvage protocol that says we're going to do a lot of different things with our claims, but once we know that we have a total loss on our hands and the vehicle needs to be salvaged, within 10 days we need to have record of that salvage being completed. Otherwise, that vehicle is essentially sitting on a lot somewhere as a depreciating asset rusting away. So once we've got an estimate prepared and it's been approved, We have a total loss confirmed within 10 days. It needs to be salvaged. Now, I could have these protocols also set up to trigger off my alerts. I could have an alert at 7, at 8, at 9 days so that I can take action prior to us hitting this 10-day threshold. As opposed to only looking at new data coming into the system, I can also use this for analysis on my historical data. So by clicking Show Violations, here are all the various ways, based on the data that I've already got in the system, that this protocol was violated, along with the root cause. So it's showing me when a step was missing, if something happened in the wrong position, if we had a time violation, and I could very easily drill in to understand more about any one of these violations and the claims that have exhibited that behavior if I have interest in doing so. Just to give you a look at the alerts options here, you have the capability to send via email to a recipient, via text message, also the ability to connect in via web services to possibly kick off downstream workflows without the need to have human intervention. So unmanned remediation steps by triggering off one of these alerts when we understand that a condition's been broken and kicking off a downstream process to go and fix that issue.